Alright guys, it's time to start coding our first site. Now, the first thing you want to do is make sure you open up VS Code. You should already have it. If you don't, just Google VS Code. If you type in VS Code, you're going to find this right here, and it is code.visualstudio.com. And go ahead and install that, and then you will be here. So when you're inside this program, you need to have a folder for your work. Now, what you should do is just go in and open folder, set up where you want to do it. You can see these are my games here in my documents folder. So I have lessons. You can name it sites, whatever you want to name it. So let's name it sites. And inside that, we will go in and do a folder called first site. So then we'll select that folder. Now, if you're using a Mac, you would just go into your Finder and make a folder or use Terminal, whichever works for you, or you could do it inside the program just like this. Okay, so now that we are looking in our new folder, what we can do is we can right click and we can make a new file, or you can go up the file and then new file. And we are going to save this as index.html. So index.html is the generic entry point for most websites. You don't necessarily have to have it because you can type in whatever /.com. So like when you go to google.com, so I go to www.google.com, this is their index.html, even though you don't see it. Now, if you didn't have index.html and say it was like page.html, you could go there, just have that as your site, but you also would always want some sort of entry point. So make that index.html. And the first thing that we're going to write in here is the doc type. So we will put our tag and we will put doc type, have it all in caps, and then you can write HTML. And then you have a closing tag. So each opening tag and closing tag for these, on each type of reserved word, there's also an open and close tag for each of your elements. So this is HTML. This tells the browser that this is an HTML document. And then inside of that, we're going to put a head tag. So we will type in head. And you will see that VS Code automatically makes a closing tag. If you're using a different code editor and doesn't, just remember to write those in. Every opening tag has to have a closing one. This head is going to be for information for the browser. So like your meta tags, your CSS files, some JavaScript files, anything that needs to be loaded before the page loads is going to go in your head tag. So the one thing that we definitely want to have in there is a title for the page. So we're going to type in title and we can write in my first website. So now when we go to this website, just like we'll see something like on Pages Codeology up here, that will be your title. Okay, so now we're just going to put in a body tag. The body tag is going to be the stuff that you see on the browser. So you can go to google.com. This is the stuff that you will visually see, unlike the head tag, which is all stuff that's just information for the browser. So this stuff right here is inside them. So what we're going to have is we're going to do an H1 and we're going to write hello world. Now H1 means header 1. So what we can do is, if we want to see the difference, there's 1 through 6, as you can see here. If I type H, there's 1 through 6. So I'll do a 3 and we'll do hello world. And I'll put the number 3 after it so you can tell the difference. And then I'll do a 6. And this is hello world 6. All right. So those are going to be our headers. And then down here, we're going to do a paragraph tag, which is just the P. You don't have to type it out. And inside that, hello, I am a paragraph. So now this is our first site set up. So now you can save this. So file, save. So now you can see the shortcut is Control S, which I'm going to be using from this point on. It would be Command S on a Mac. So go ahead and save. And the easiest way to see the website, you can either open up the index.html through the folder. So I can go into that folder in my docs file. I'm going to go in my docs and I'll go into the sites, my first site, and then this index. I could open up that and I could see that right there. The other way to do this, and the better way to do this, is to get an extension. So if we go down here and you see extensions, and we're going to get live server. And you see this first option here by Ritwick Day. We will install. And now that that is installed, when we look at our file, we can close. You're going to see a gold live option down on the bottom right. So click to run live server, allow access if that pops up for you. And it will pop up another window and it'll have your site. So the cool thing about running this is if I open this up and I type in, hi, I'm a new paragraph, and I add another P, I have go live running. And you save. Now you see that automatically updates on the pretty neat and saves a lot of time from constantly reopening the page. So this is our end of our first video. I hope you kept up along. If you have any issues, make sure you leave a message.